Hello and welcome. You're watching InfoFeed. What is the price of national security? If you're the government of India, you spend billions of dollars every year securing your borders. You buy Rafale jets. You deploy advanced missile defense shields. You build digital firewalls to protect your military infrastructure from cyber attacks. But what is the price to bypass all of it? To hand the exact coordinates of those fighter jets over to the enemy in the middle of the night. 10,000 rupees. Over the last 48 hours, culminating today, March 23, 2026, Indian security and intelligence agencies have busted two separate, massive espionage networks operating right under their noses. From an Air Force base in Assam to the railway stations of the National Capital Region, sensitive military data is bleeding across the border into Pakistan. And the spies doing the bleeding are not highly trained intelligence officers. They are civilian sweepers, mobile repair technicians, and teenagers. Let's look at the facts of the first arrest, because it shatters every Hollywood myth we have about espionage. We are conditioned to think of spies as James Bond, highly trained, ideological agents using dead drops and encrypted radios. The reality of modern espionage is much more banal and much more terrifying. On Sunday, a joint operation by Rajasthan Intelligence and the Indian Air Force arrested a 36-year-old man named Sumit Kumar. Who is Sumit Kumar? He's not a decorated officer. He was working as a multitasking staff member, an MTS, at the Air Force Station in Chabua, Assam. He is the lowest rung of the administrative ladder. Yet, according to investigators, this MTS worker used his proximity to the base to access and transmit highly classified information. He leaked the locations of fighter aircraft. He leaked the deployment of missile systems. He even compromised data on personnel at another critical base, the Nal Air Force Station in Bikaner. How did he do it? Social media. Sumit Kumar was in indirect, constant contact with Pakistani intelligence handlers since 2023. He even registered Indian SIM cards in his own name and handed the OTPs to his handlers so that they could create untraceable social media accounts. And why did he do it? It wasn't religious extremism. It wasn't political ideology. It was petty cash. This is the democratization of treason. Intelligence agencies like the ISI no longer need to spend years placing a sleeper agent deep inside the Indian military command. They simply cast a massive digital net over social media, offering quick cash to financially stressed, low-level civilian contractors until one of them bites. You don't need to hack the Pentagon's firewall if you can simply bribe the janitor. But if the Air Force arrest exposes internal vulnerabilities, the second espionage bust exposes external ones. Over the past weekend, the Gajabad police has arrested 14 individuals. They busted a spy module that reads like a dystopian novel. The mastermind, a man named Sohail Malik, was taken by Pakistan's ISI to monitor Indian troop movements. But he didn't risk crossing the border. He didn't even risk doing it himself. He outsourced it. The module recruited local marginalized youths. Out of the 14 arrested, 5 of them are minors, children between the ages of 15 and 17. They recruited mobile repairmen and CCTV technicians. They specifically targeted people from economically weaker backgrounds who possessed basic technical skills. And what was their mission? They installed solar-powered, SIM-enabled CCTV cameras directly facing the Delhi cantonment and Sonipat railway stations. They were streaming live, high-definition video feeds of Indian Army logistics, weaponry, and troop deployment directly to handlers in Pakistan. The plan was to install 50 such cameras all the way from Delhi to Kashmir. And how were they paid? Through India's pride and joy, UPI. Sohail Malik was receiving 10,000 rupees for every video clip he successfully transmitted. It took an alert local beat constable who noticed suspicious individuals fiddling with a camera on a pole to unravel the entire plot. But think about the terrifying implications of this. A foreign intelligence agency effectively hired Indian gig workers to surveil the Indian army, using off-the-shelf cameras bought online and paid them via mobile wallets. Now let's zoom out. Why is Pakistan resorting to this specific brand of espionage? Because they have no other choice. It's a matter of pure economic asymmetry. The Indian economy is massive. Conventional military superiority over Pakistan is absolute. Islamabad is surviving on IMF bailouts. They cannot afford a conventional war, and they cannot afford to run high-level expensive human intelligence rings like the CIA or the Mossad. So, they wage asymmetric warfare. They weaponize infrastructure against India. India has the cheapest mobile data in the world and the most efficient digital payment network in the world. The ISI is taking these incredible technological achievements and using them as a backdoor. But more importantly, they are weaponizing socioeconomic fault lines. The reason a 36-year-old civilian staffer or an 18-year-old from Bihar is willing to sell out their country is that they are desperate. The handlers across the border are exploiting the unemployment. They are exploiting the fact that for a teenager from an impoverished background, 10,000 rupees is a life-changing amount of money, enough to make them ignore the fact that they are committing high treason. This is not a failure of intelligence agencies. The police and the ATS caught them, and they should be commended. But it is a failure of socio-economic firewall. You cannot secure a nation strictly with guns and radars if the people living around these bases are desperate enough to sell their keys for the price of a mid-range smartphone. Loose lips sink ships. That was the famous warning from the Second World War. It meant that a casual conversation could cost lives. Today we do not have casual conversations. We have WhatsApp, we have Telegram, we have live streaming solar cameras, and instantaneous, untraceable digital payments. The arrest in Assam and Gajabad exposed a fundamental crisis of the 21st century state. Governments are spending trillions on advanced fighter jets and impenetrable defense shields. But all of that hardware is completely useless if the human being cleaning the floors around it is willing to sell the coordinates for pocket change. The espionage war of 2026 is not being fought in the shadows by masterminds. It's being fought in plain sight. It's being fought by teenagers, gig workers, and civilian staffers armed with nothing but a 5G connection and a QR code. And in that kind of war, there are no secrets left. There's only the highest bidder. Facts inform, but stories transform.